Have you ever loved someone so deeply that you lost yourself in the process? You saw red flags, bright, screaming warnings, but you called it passion. You called it fate. But what if I told you, the person you couldn't let go of was actually a reflection of the wounds you never healed? This isn't just a story about heartbreak. It's a story about why we keep choosing the wrong people, and how healing changes everything. Have you ever looked back at someone you loved deeply and asked yourself, what in the world was I thinking? Or maybe you knew from the start that something felt off, but you couldn't stop yourself from falling anyway. It's a question so many of us carry silently, especially late at night when the world is quiet and our hearts speak loudest. Why do we fall for the wrong people? This isn't just about heartbreak. This is about the invisible patterns pulling the strings behind our choices in love, the deep psychology, the past traumas, the unmet needs, the emotional blueprints. This is about you, me, and all of us trying to make sense of a feeling that doesn't always make sense. Welcome to Ask.Psyche, the space where we unpack the raw truth about modern love, dating, and the human mind. If you're new here, I'm glad you found your way. And if you've been with us for a while, welcome back. Make sure you hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, and share this video with someone you care about. Don't forget to drop your thoughts in the comments, it helps us grow, and you never know who needs to hear your story. So, let's dive in. Let's begin with the reality that many of our romantic decisions are not made in the present, they're echoes from the past. Imagine this, you're not just dating with your current self. You're dating with your childhood wounds, your teenage insecurities, your early heartbreaks, and your internalized beliefs about love. Psychologists call this your attachment system, and it forms in your earliest relationships, usually with your parents or caregivers. If you grew up feeling ignored, abandoned, or like you had to earn love, your brain may have wired itself to seek out what's familiar, not necessarily what's healthy. So when someone mirrors that inconsistency or emotional unavailability, it doesn't feel wrong, it feels normal. That's why the nice guy might bore you, and the emotionally distant partner keeps you hooked. Not because you want pain, but because pain feels familiar. And familiar feels safe. Let that sink in for a moment. Falling for the wrong person isn't a flaw in your character. It's often a survival pattern. It's your nervous system trying to recreate a story it never got to finish. And this story often begins before we even start dating. Think about the movies, the fairy tales, the songs. We're taught to believe that love should be dramatic, consuming, even chaotic. If it doesn't hurt a little, is it even real? This romanticization of struggle becomes a blueprint. We start confusing anxiety with chemistry. We chase validation instead of connection. We fall not for who someone is, but for how they make us feel about ourselves in the moment. And the real danger? We start to mistake emotional intensity for emotional intimacy. Just because someone makes your heart race doesn't mean they'll make your soul rest. Here's where it gets deeper. When we fall for the wrong person, we often create illusions. We fall for the potential. For the fantasy version of them that exists only in our minds. We ignore red flags, rewrite the narrative, and become emotionally attached to who they could be if only they changed. But potential is not a promise. You can't build a life on potential. You can't build a future on what-ifs. To do this effectively, you must first understand the science of attraction. Research shows that humans are wired to respond to specific signals, both verbal and nonverbal, that indicate health, vitality, and compatibility. These include facial symmetry, body language, tone of voice, and even scent. However, these biological factors are only part of the story. Psychological compatibility, shared values, and emotional safety play equal roles in sustaining long-term attraction. One of the most misunderstood concepts is that attraction is purely physical or spontaneous. In reality, attraction can be cultivated by consciously aligning your mindset and behaviors with your goals. For example, practicing emotional intelligence, being aware of and managing your emotions, makes you more approachable and trustworthy. Another critical factor is social proof. People are naturally drawn to those who are valued and respected by others. This doesn't mean playing games or seeking validation, but rather living a life that naturally attracts positive attention. Additionally, being selective about who you allow into your inner circle reinforces your standards and shows potential partners that you value yourself. In today's digital age, your online presence also shapes attraction. Your social media profiles should authentically reflect your personality, values, and lifestyle, not a curated fantasy. Authenticity builds trust before any face-to-face interaction. Let's also address the mindset of abundance versus scarcity. Scarcity thinking makes you desperate and clingy, signaling insecurity. Abundance thinking allows you to stay calm and confident, knowing that you deserve a fulfilling relationship and that many compatible partners exist. This mindset shift is crucial in moving from chasing love to attracting love. Furthermore, healing past wounds through introspection and professional help ensures you don't unconsciously sabotage new connections. Remember, your inner world shapes your outer world. The better you know and love yourself, the clearer your vision becomes for the type of relationship you deserve. Finally, take deliberate action. Put yourself in environments where you can meet like-minded people, whether that's hobby groups, professional settings, or social events. Practice vulnerability by opening up gradually and authentically. Use active listening to deepen connections. And don't settle for less than mutual respect and effort. The journey to finding the right person is ongoing and requires commitment to growth. It's about transforming your relationship with yourself as much as with others. With patience, awareness, and courage, you can break free from old patterns, attract healthy love, and build lasting connection. Another critical point to consider is the role of self-sabotage. Often, we don't even realize how we unconsciously push away the very love we crave. This happens when deep down, we feel unworthy of healthy love or happiness. These limiting beliefs, like "I'm not good enough" or "love always ends in pain," act like filters through which we interpret every romantic interaction. Even when someone treats us well, we might question their motives or pull away, convinced it won't last. This form of emotional self-sabotage stems from unresolved internal wounds and must be confronted head-on if we are to experience real intimacy. Another layer to explore is the impact of unresolved trauma. Trauma, especially from past relationships or early life, can condition our nervous system to expect danger even in safe situations. This hypervigilance may lead us to misinterpret kindness as manipulation or calmness as boredom. We begin to equate peace with discomfort and chaos with passion. Until this trauma is processed, through therapy, reflection, or safe relational experiences, our ability to choose the right partner remains clouded. Let's also address the savior complex. Some individuals, often due to childhood roles where they had to emotionally support unstable parents, develop a pattern of choosing partners they can fix or rescue. Love becomes synonymous with sacrifice. They feel needed, important, even noble, but often end up drained, disappointed, and emotionally neglected. Healthy love doesn't require fixing. It requires understanding, growth, and reciprocity. Now let's talk about the fear of being alone. Many people settle for the wrong partner because they fear loneliness more than mistreatment. This desperation creates a dangerous vulnerability. Instead of choosing a partner from a place of wholeness, they choose from a place of lack. Learning to be content, fulfilled, and grounded in solitude is essential. When you're at peace with being alone, you're no longer willing to accept emotional crumbs. You raise your standards naturally. Another powerful dynamic to explore is repetition compulsion. This is a psychological phenomenon where people unconsciously repeat familiar emotional patterns from the past, even if they're harmful. For example, someone with a critical or emotionally unavailable parent may find themselves drawn to critical or distant partners. The unconscious hope is that this time, they'll be loved the way they always wish to be. But often, the cycle repeats instead. Breaking free from repetition compulsion requires conscious awareness and intentional healing work. Let's also look at how low self-esteem influences romantic choices. When you don't believe you're worthy of love, you may unconsciously choose partners who reinforce that belief. You tolerate mistreatment, overlook red flags, or overinvest in one-sided relationships because, deep down, you feel that's all you deserve. But self-worth isn't something you earn from others. It's something you reclaim from within. Another trap is confusing intensity for compatibility. Just because a relationship is passionate, doesn't mean it's healthy. Intensity can come from trauma bonding, unhealed wounds, or emotional instability. True compatibility is about shared values, emotional safety, consistent effort, and mutual respect. It's steady, not chaotic. If you constantly feel anxious, unsure, or drained, it's not love, it's survival. There's also the role of ego in romantic decisions. Sometimes, we pursue relationships not because of genuine connection, but to prove something, to ourselves, to others, or to an ex. The relationship becomes a stage where we perform rather than a space where we connect. Love becomes a trophy, not a bond. When ego drives your love life, authenticity is lost. To attract the right person, your heart must be louder than your pride. We must also discuss emotional unavailability. Many people fall for emotionally unavailable partners because they themselves are not ready for deep intimacy. The chase, the longing, the idea of winning someone over feels safer than being fully seen and vulnerable. Emotional unavailability on both ends creates a dance of avoidance. To break this cycle, you must ask yourself, am I truly open to receiving love, or just addicted to the idea of it? The truth is, love isn't meant to feel like a battlefield. It's meant to be a sanctuary. The more we heal, the more we understand, and the more we grow, the easier it becomes to spot what aligns and what drains. So if this video resonated with you, if it stirred something deep within you, don't let it end here. Like the video, subscribe to the channel, and share it with someone who might need this message today. And more importantly, let your voice be heard in the comments. Share your story, your lessons, your breakthrough, because someone out there might be waiting to feel a little less alone through your truth. This is not just content. This is community. This is healing. This is Astad Psyche. And always remember, the love you're looking for begins with the love you give yourself. Keep growing, keep rising, and never stop choosing you. Until next time, stay mindful, stay empowered, and stay true.